Russian President Vladimir Putin says southern Ukraine and the eastern Donbas region will be taken by military means or otherwise. He made the comments in an interview with Indian media. They come after talks between U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the Russian leader in Moscow on Tuesday. The Kremlin says no compromise was found on the issue of territory. Ukraine says it will not accept recognition of Russian sovereignty over land Russia occupies. Well, let's speak now to Yulia Shapovalova in Moscow. So how are these comments being interpreted coming in the midst of this diplomatic effort by the US?
Well, basically, the Russian side and President Putin in particular expressed that he's pretty much content with the outcome of that meeting in Moscow between U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. Basically, he said that the U.S. delegation brought to Moscow proposals based on agreements reached in Alaska back in August. So the U.S. divided 27 points of the plan, of the U.S. plan on Ukraine into 4 packages and offered discussing them separately. And basically the parties went through almost every point of those proposals. So that's why that late night meeting lasted more than 5 hours. So there were issues with which the Russian side basically disagreed, and the parties discussed that basically the U.S. representatives, some things they agreed, but some points they agreed on. The Russian side actually appreciates that the U.S. Representatives do some sort of shuttle diplomacy. They have contacts not just with Russia, but with Europe and with Ukraine. As you said, there are certain red lines for Russia at the moment, which prevented from moving further towards signing a peace agreement. According to President Vladimir Putin, according to Russian authorities, Russia will never leave territories taken in the course of its so-called special military operation, which is into its 4th year, and it will seek their recognition by international communities. Ukraine's neutral status and its non-accession to NATO is also one of the key Russian demands. While US representatives being engaged in this shuttle diplomacy, they basically say that, and the American president in particular has noted that Vladimir Putin would like to end this war. He would like to make a deal, and Trump has called the meeting in Moscow rather good. And basically, he believes that Putin wants to return to more normal life and continue cooperating with the USA.
And we understand the Russian president will be arriving in India. A sign of defiance to Western efforts to try and isolate Russia?
Well, that's right. I mean, this visit hasn't begun yet, but we're waiting for any lines, any news from India. At the moment, President is about to arrive in this country. So obviously, the relationship between Russia and India have been improving in the past years, and despite all the sanctions and all the obstacles that we see, like sanctions from the US and European partners, relations between Russia and India continue to thrive, because obviously Russia sells its energy resources to India at a very nice price, and India basically can't reject these very lucrative Russia's proposals and very lucrative Russia's conditions it offers to India. And also, politically, these two countries have also been very close. And even though the Indian Prime Minister never supported Russia's so-called special military operation in Ukraine, but still they continue maintaining the mutual relationship, and they both are BRICS members, and they obviously continue their cooperation within this particular bloc as well.
All right, thanks so much. Yulia Shapovalova there from Moscow.
Don't miss out, get the full picture. Subscribe to Al Jazeera for reliable news and expert insights. Like, share, stay ahead.